today we are going to get into what kitchen equipment you need and what you don't. So I'm gonna just jump right in. I have a very small kitchen and I'm in a New York apartment. It's very small, not a lot of space. I've always been somewhat of a minimalist, and tonight I'm going to talk about what you need in your kitchen and what you definitely do not need. I have a bunch of pots and pans here, and this is pretty much all I use every day. Let's break it down. In terms of pots, you only really need three. A small one, a medium one, and a big one. That's it. I like to stick to stainless steel. Cuisinart is my favorite brand. In terms of pans, you really only need two. You need a 10-inch non-stick skillet, and I recommend having a non-stick skillet on hand for eggs, tofu, fish. Also, if you're a beginner, non-stick is great. The only bad thing is that they don't last very long. This bad boy I've had for about 5 years, and this is a Cuisinart 5.5 quart stainless steel pan. It is my baby, my pride and joy. I use it a lot. I highly recommend getting a pan with deep sides like this, and I use this for pretty much everything from pasta dishes, stir fries, even if I'm just cooking like chicken or something. It's heavy, it's big, but it really can do it all. Highly recommend. Also, it can go in the oven. This cannot go in the oven, so you want to get a pan that can actually be put in the oven safely as well. And then that's it for pots and pans. So in terms of the oven, I recommend getting one baking dish. This is a 9x9. I've had it for years. It's from IKEA. And you can do a lot with a 9x9 if you are a household of 2 or 1. If you have a bigger family, you're gonna need a bigger pan for sure, or dish for sure. So this is good. You want a glass baking dish for casseroles, frittatas, baked like chicken or other meats can like simmer in here. It's excellent. So you don't really need anything bigger than that. You might want to get a loaf pan. A loaf pan is great for breads, meatloaves, and some other stuff. Again, I don't use this that often, but I can't say that a kitchen would be complete without one. Of course, if you don't bake any breads or meatloaves or anything like that, hey, maybe you don't need this. I'm happy I have it. Muffin tin. Okay, this is on my need list because I make muffins every single week, but if you're not a muffin person, then you don't need this. I will say I've had this one for like 3 years. It's from Wilton. It's a little scratched up, but it works just fine, and you only need one. Don't bother with the mini ones, don't bother with the giant ones. Just get your standard 12-well muffin tin. The most important thing you need for the oven is definitely a baking sheet. So this is a half-size baking sheet. That's what you would see if you looked up baking sheet. It's like full size, quarter size, and this is a half size. It's pretty standard in size. And this is from Amazon. It's from a brand called Nordic Ware. And you need this for sheet pan meals, chicken, veggies, like proteins. This is probably, if I had to do out without the rest, this is the thing I would keep. That's it for the oven. A baking sheet, a glass baking dish, maybe a loaf pan, and a muffin tin. Other than that, you don't really need much. So this is something I did not have in my kitchen when I started out, but I'm really happy I have some mixing bowls now. These are just so helpful for marinating stuff and mixing dressings and making pancake batter and all that stuff. So I have 4. 3 of them are metal, and I think they're all from IKEA, and they fit in with each other like that. This is definitely big. I would use the big one for salads, and I use it for defrosting meat because you can defrost meat in a bowl of water. The small ones I use for when I chop veggies and throw them in here, just like, when I'm cooking. It's just nice to have something to quickly pour into a pan. So I would say if you feel like you have the basics but you're missing something, this would really be helpful. And then this is a plastic one. I recommend getting a bowl with a little lip here so it's easy to pour. I use this every single week for all kinds of stuff, and it's from IKEA. So let's get into like some of the smaller utensils. This is very important. You need a mesh strainer for pasta, for draining stuff. Pasta is pretty essential. You're gonna want one of these. I use this for washing greens, washing vegetables, straining beans. I use this thing, I have 2 of them and I use them every week. You don't need a ton of cooking utensils. A wooden spoon or spatula, this is for, mixing baked like batters and stuff, would be like pasta dishes, things that are a little bit more delicate. You want a wooden spoon or spatula like this. I got this for free from SaveTheFood.com. They sent it to me. I have a couple of them. I really love them. But another spatula you want is a classic rubber spatula, which will help you for mixing muffin batter, pancake batter, all the mixing stuff, spreading things. Like, these are two really, really important ones, and you could get by with just these two. But if you do a lot of flipping, you don't want to get one of these spatulas. I like silicone because they're easy to clean, and this will be friendly to your non-stick cookware as well as stainless steel cookware, whereas the metal stuff you cannot use on non-stick. So I highly recommend this brand called GIR. It's called Gear. Another one would be a slotted spoon. So this is really important, again, for just, I guess, you want a slotted spoon because it can be used as a regular spoon, and also if you are picking up, I mean, I keep going back to pasta because pasta is just like the ultimate food that we all probably cook, but this is very useful for that. And it's the same brand, silicone, nice colors. I love them. So that's it. These 4 things. They don't take a lot of space. This is all you need. The next step up would be getting some tongs. So this masher thing would be on my nice to have. This is not a need. It's just, I'm happy I have it because I make a lot of banana bread. I mash a lot of potatoes. It's easy to mash, but you can just use a fork. You don't even really need this. You can use a fork, you can use other utensils. This is very bulky. It's really hard. It's not easy to store in the drawer that I store it in, so I would say this is like a maybe, but for me it's a must. Peeler. Get this kind of peeler. This is, I think it's called a Y peeler. You can hold it easily with your hand like this. Those little long peelers that are like up and down, forget about those. This is so much easier to peel things like this with. And this is from Amazon. It's OXO, which is a great brand. Knives. So we went over knives in an earlier live session, but the only one you truly need is an 8-inch chef's knife. You do not need any other knife, really. Of course you can have them, but if we're being minimalist, this is the only one you'll actually use. My favorite brand is called Miesen, M-I-E-S-E-N, and I've had this for 2 years. Love this knife. It's inexpensive, it's sharp. So yeah, this is the only knife you really, really need. Knife sharpening is another thing that can take up a lot of space, but I use this. It's called a whetstone. All you do is just kind of run your knife back and forth over it, and it has to be wet with water, and that's it. This is what I use. I don't use any of those machines or anything. I also have a honing steel, which is very helpful. Cutting board. I highly recommend getting bamboo cutting boards. They're easier on your knives. They're a little bit better. Don't ever get glass. Glass is really bad for your knives. But this is easier on your knives. It's easier on the environment. It's clean. It's easy to clean and store. They last longer than plastic. So I would say bamboo or wood cutting board is the way to go. In terms of baking, I recommend you're gonna want a measuring glass like this. I love this one. It's 2 cups. It's really big. I have a 1 cup one as well, but I definitely use this one way more. So this is a Pyrex measuring cup. Love this. And then you really just need, some tablespoons, some measuring cups. I have 4 of them. This is just 2. But that's all you really need for your essential baking and measuring, I would say, in America. Obviously other countries have other measuring, tools. So I don't have a KitchenAid, but I do bake a lot, and I use this handy little mini mixer. It's a hand mixer. I've had it since college. It's a Cuisinart, and I love it. These pop right out. I don't have, my KitchenAid is stored somewhere else because my New York City kitchen is just too small. So I'm really happy that I have this guy, and I use it a lot. It does, it's a workout because you have to hold it while you're mixing, and it can't do as much as a KitchenAid. But if you are, again, tight on space but you still love to bake, I highly recommend this. Graters. I have 2 graters, and I pull these both out because, one, I think if you are really low on space, this will do enough. This is from IKEA, and it's just very easy to store. This guy is way bulkier, but it's a little bit easier to use because it's stationary. It doesn't have one of those fancy slide things, but it does the job. So I'd say it depends on your priorities, but if you want to get this big guy, you can do more with this. This one's easier to store, but you definitely want at least one of these things in your kitchen. I have this blender. This is a Ninja blender. Of course, the bottom is not here, but it does have like a pretty big stand for it. The reason I don't use the immersion blender is because this guy has a steam valve, or like this thing. Basically, if I'm making a soup, I can pour everything in here, the steam comes out, it blends perfectly, and of course I can make it for smoothies and other stuff. Sauces as well. So that's why I highly recommend getting a blender with a little valve here so the steam can come out and then you can blend soups in here. It's very powerful. Let's talk about the food processor. This is a question I get a lot. Is a food processor worth it? And I think yes, if you get a mini one like this. I've had this mini for probably 5 years, and it's a workhorse. I mean, this thing just like will not die. I beat it up a little bit. This is good enough to fit 1 can of chickpeas and all the hummus ingredients I need. I make it in this every single week. So again, it's really basic. It's not as sophisticated as the ones where you can like, you know, shove ingredients in while you're processing, but it does the job. So if you don't have a lot of space and you want a food processor, I highly recommend this small one from Cuisinart. I love this thing. So obviously you need an oven mitt. That's why I put this here. Of these oven mitts, I've had since college. Look how like frayed they are. I don't even know how they're still really working, but that's my oven mitt. You definitely, absolutely need one of these for baking. So the last thing I have to show you tonight is this little waffle maker. A waffle maker was previously on my list of things you don't need, but then I found this tiny one from Dash and I love it. It's, you know, this was $10. It's not made very well, has like very little function. It just, you know, you plug it in, you put your waffle batter in and it's fine. And obviously you have to stand here and pour waffle batter, you know, but I do like my waffles, and this just, you know, I couldn't really say no to this thing. It's so small and easy to store. I have a silicone mat. I did not bring it out tonight because I barely ever use it. I really don't like cleaning it. I don't know, it's kind of one of those things that it's just hard for me to clean and I don't ever use it, but so that's why it's not on my list. Things you don't need in a small kitchen. I'm very opinionated about this stuff and you might not agree with me, and that's okay. This is for a minimalist kitchen. So Instant Pot, Crock Pot, Air Fryer. These are 3 appliances that are very popular and have many uses. I think they're great for families, but if you're single or just living with a partner or just some roommates and you have a small kitchen, an Instant Pot, Crock Pot, or Air Fryer is just like not necessary. What do you guys think about the Instant Pot, Crock Pot, Air Fryer deal? Tell me in the comments. I know everyone has an opinion on this. You can leave a crock pot on all day and have an amazing dinner when you get home. I'm glad that works for you. But for me, it's like, I guess I just can get the same results cooking for a few hours, or similar results for a few hours with a pot, you know, or something in the oven. It's not gonna be as good maybe because it's not cooking all day, but it'll still be good. Bread machine, we don't have it. We don't have an ice cream machine. Like, there are so many different things you can get for your kitchen. It just depends on what you like to do, and I like to do the basics. All right guys, I'll see you next time, and have a great night. Be safe, be well, eat good food, and you're amazing. Bye.